Well, hello, welcome to I Love Gay today. And today we are back in the world of film and LGBT film festivals and so forth. And we're at one of my favorite places, Palm Springs, with Michael Green from Cinema Diverse. How are you?
Good. Nice to be here.
It's nice to connect with you again. It's been a while since I'm from LA. I used to be in Palm Springs and see you all the time, but things have changed over the last few years.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and I'm wearing my other hat today. I'm wearing my film festival hat
Yep.
as opposed to my gay hotel hat.
I know, not to overdo that part, but that's the thing with your gay resort that you have there, and then with the film festival. I'll go ahead and say it. You're kind of an anchor in the LGBT community there in Palm Springs.
I used to feel when we first came out here, I thought we were like the new guys, and I'm realizing that we're becoming the oldest guys.
I know the feeling, but we won't talk about that too much. But no, I love what you're doing. You oversee Cinema Diverse, and I could even see from the background there that what is this, the 24th year that it's been in Palm Springs?
Actually, Cinema Diverse is on its 14th year.
Oh, okay.
We've got several other film festivals, though, that we've had for a while. And when I say we, I'm talking about the Cultural Center overall.
Yeah.
The Cultural Center is a nonprofit that basically is an incubator and or a supporter of different kinds of cultural programs. And film festivals are one of the kinds of programs that we support.
Yeah.
So we do Cinema Diverse, which is a gay and lesbian film festival. We have the Arthur Lyons Film Noir Festival, which is in its 22nd year. We've got Cinema Francais, and then of course we also host the Palm Springs International Film Festival. That's a separate organization, but
Okay.
we're one of the home theaters to it.
Yeah. I remember that theater back in the day when it was called the Camelot, I think.
It was, and still inside. We say the Palm Springs Cultural Center, home of the Camelot theaters, because we want to keep that heritage. And inside we have the original first theater, which is the big 500-seat theater, which we still call the Camelot Theater. But the others, we're kind of trying to broaden what we're doing with the Cultural Center. And so we're doing some other things with it.
Well, I know last year, you, like all the other film festivals, everyone had to pivot, with all the programming and so forth. And so many went virtual. Did you guys also have a virtual set of screenings last year?
We did. We went largely virtual. We also had we put a drive-in up on the north wall of the building.
Yeah.
And so we had some drive-in, which were a lot of fun. I mean, in late September in Palm Springs, being at a drive-in is kind of a great thing to do. It's nice to have. The weather was pleasant, and so we had some good fun drive-ins where we were able to be socially distant. Everybody was in their car, but we had guests come in and could come up, speak to everybody, and then we watched the films. The rest of it was all streaming, and we're still going to be doing some streaming this year.
Yeah.
Although we're changing platforms, but we'll still be doing streaming. But this year we are going back into the theaters, so all three of the theaters will have film in them.
Okay. Yeah, that's a wonderful, because we're seeing that more and more. It's I guess it's case by case depending on the region of the country that we're seeing these come back. But I know we were chatting earlier, but you have a series of precautions in place to be able to kind of make sure that everyone is staying healthy and on top of this.
Yeah, we're going to open at a limited capacity.
Yeah.
So people will be able to, have space between them and feel safe and secure. And of course, we've got these big, massive sanitizer sprayers that we use between screenings. And we're also asking folks to mask up and show their vaccination cards, which is, some people have issues with that. We don't find that in California as much, and certainly not in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
You have to do it at restaurants now, so having to do it at movie theaters is not a big deal.
Yeah, I can imagine. Any fun highlights from some of the programming this year?
Oh wow, we've got we've got a lot of ultra new films and some great foreign films, also some really fun documentaries.
Yeah.
A couple of them, It's interesting being on the West Coast because a lot of our LGBTQ history is centered around the East Coast and what happened in Stonewall. But we've got a great and a rich history of the LGBTQ movement on the West Coast, both in San Francisco and in Los Angeles. And so we've got a couple of films that are really focusing on that period of time out here. So it's kind of interesting to learn that piece of history. People don't know it as well as they know the Stonewall piece. So I think those are going to be really well received. And also the larger portion of our attendees are, the generation that remembers that and in some cases experienced it. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, we're doing the film that was Cloris Leachman's last film, Jump Darling, which is just it is a darling of a film. It's just really sweet. And some other, different foreign films, some, believe it or not, some military romances.
That could be hot.
Yeah. And then we've got tons and tons of shorts, which we love. We love to do shorts, and we've got a bunch of web programming that for the past several years, Kevin Thomas from San Francisco has been coming down and doing some pre-programmed web series for us, just to kind of help introduce our audience to the fact that there are some great series on the web out there, not unlike what you're doing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there that people may not know about, and they need to be aware of it. So we're trying to help spread that word too.
No, I will say for the record, honestly, it's very much appreciated, because for those that don't know, we took kind of some of the interviews that like we're doing now and compiled our first one into a story about what's happening in New York City with some of the bars and stuff going on. But in addition, we tried to get some of what's happening outside of New York. And I know Brad Furr, Gay Desert Guide in Palm Springs, we interviewed him in this, but that short documentary, that was our first. You guys were also the first to welcome it to the film festival. So like I said, very much appreciated. I'm excited to see what the feedback's going to be.
Yeah, well, and as I said, I mean, I think, people are learning, there's so many options on where to get your information. And I think that things like what you're doing are a great way for people to discover more about their own history. And I really feel very strongly that we can't forget our history. We're not nearly as secure as we might like to think we are. And so I think it's important that we look at that and remember that, and also look at kind of the leading edge of technology in terms of what's out there for us to get information from.
Yeah. What are the dates for the film festival this year?
Sure. We open on the 16th of September, and then we'll run through that weekend. So it's the 16th to the 19th in theater. And then we'll close for Monday and Tuesday following that. And then I think it's the 22nd to the 26th, Wednesday through Sunday, we reopen again in the theaters. And then, of course, we'll be streaming from the 16th to the 30th. But there's a mix. Some films we're only streaming, other films we're only doing in theater. So it's, people are really going to have to choose which and what they want, what kind of experience that they want. I know some people are still a bit uncomfortable going into a theater situation. So we want to make sure that we have options for those people. And conversely, we've got a lot of folks out here since the theaters have reopened that really have told us they've just been craving being able to come back into a theater and get their popcorn and their Coca-Cola. And
exactly.
So we're trying to make sure we do both. We're not going to do drive-in this year, just because we feel like if we needed that option, we would. But right now, since we're able to be open and knock on whatever, unless something changes, we're positioned well to be able to protect people inside.
Excellent. On a personal level, it coincides well with when I'm going to be in LA for almost the entire duration of your film festival.
Yay!
So, and my
You'll have to
goal
come
was to
out.
be able, yes, my goal was to make a quick trip out to at least to Palm Springs while I'm there. And so I'm going to try to see if I can put all this together. It'd be great to see you. I haven't seen you in all that time. So it'd be great to put it all together and make it coincide with some wonderful events you've got there.
Absolutely, it'll be fun. I think it's going to be a really fun year this year. As I said, people have really been so long unable to do anything, and this just creates an opportunity to watch movies, socialize safely, and have a good time.
Fantastic.
And there's no better place than Palm Springs to do that.
well
I have
put.
to put that little,
You're not biased in any way, are you? I love it. It's also one of my favorite places as well. So no, very much. Thank you for taking a little of your time and sharing your story and letting us know what's going on there. And like I said, look forward to hopefully being able to see you soon.
Perfect. Great,
All
Matt.
right.
Always good to chat with you.
You too. Thanks again.
Okay.
So good.